I saw this trend on my For You page and I actually like it a lot. So here's my own, okay? Things we do with our children in terms of raising them that we are doing differently than our parents did. Arguments. Our children have the right to argue at any given time. That does not mean that it's always going to be argued out to their will, but it means that they are learning that they have the right to disagree with us and voice their opinion no matter what. There are topics when I'm literally like, this is not up for debate, so you need to do it. For example, brushing of teeth, body hygiene, things like that, right? But other than that, we hear them out all the time. And believe me when I tell you that's fucking draining, but it pays off. It does pay off. Making decisions. Our kids get to make their own decisions. Of course, in the consideration that it has to be safe for them, it has to be according to their age, their abilities, everything in between. But there are decisions that maybe we might take for them that they disagree with. And if it is safe for them, we give them the room to explore those decisions. For example, very basic kind of example. For example, if you're telling a child of ours, okay, you cannot climb there because it's not safe or because we are afraid of the height or anything, but our child will tell us he can do it or she can do it, we are not going to stay on that no. We are going to safely allow him or her to explore that ability and to see for themselves. And more times than I can count, I was actually wrong. And my kids were actually able to do it, and they did it safely and carefully. So that trust in their abilities and their decision making is very, very important for us because we both did not have that. The next one might be a bit controversial, but that's just the way we do it. Freedom of religion. We do not raise our children with a particular religion. However, if they ask, which they do, of course, as they're exposed to all types of cultures and religions, we tell them the way it is. What we believe, how we believe it, why we believe it. But also our kids know about Ramadan, they know about Jewish celebrations, they know about Christian celebrations, they know that there is Buddhism, Hinduism, they know that there are countless religions in the world and everyone preaches in their own way. So we do not tell them, okay, well, we do not raise them, for example, to be Muslim or to be Christian. We raise them to be open-minded to all religions, to all faiths. And when time comes, they might or might not decide for themselves. And the same thing, of course, applies to sexuality, applies to the spectrum of genders, applies to the various identities people might have, sexual orientations people might have. Of course, that is very depending on the child's age. Our youngest are 6 and 8, so you can imagine that happens very child appropriate. However, they know that there are people that are trans, that are gender non-conforming. They know that there is more than just woman and man. And they know not to discriminate as such. They know that there is no normal, there is no one way to love, as long as there is consent and as long as the people involved are happy. Which also means there is nothing, will never be anything like a coming out in our household. You love who you love and we love you as long as you're happy. Very simple. Yet another very controversial that in our cultures or our backgrounds, our kids do not have chores. They do not have certain things that they have to do. They do help because they're interested to. They help with cooking every now and then, with other chores like doing the laundry or putting things in the dishwasher, things like that. They do not have any chores. They do not have any responsibilities around the house. Nothing like that. Quite similar in this very topic. When it comes to the educational system, we do not expect our children to perform extraordinary in school for the plain fact that the educational system leaves no room for individualism and is solely focused on capitalism, and therefore we do not bother. You do the bare minimum so that you scale through, and with time you find your passion, with time you know who you are, and that's more than enough for us. No pressure, no nothing. If you do well, that's great. If you don't, you get the help you need, And that's that. It doesn't define them. It doesn't make nor break them. It doesn't define their mental ability, their intelligence, nothing like that. We are not bothered when it comes to educational pressure. We don't allow that to get to our children, and we communicate that exactly like that towards their teachers. Another very big topic in our household is boundaries and consent, which should be the absolute bare fucking minimum, but unfortunately it isn't. We ask our children for permission for anything that has to do with their bodies. Do you want help? Do you need help? Do you want me to do that for you? Can I touch you? Can I help you wear your clothes? Can I enter the bathroom when you take a shower? Etc., etc. You get the point. That means they are very confident and very owning of their body and their personal space. And they're very sensitive to invasion of such, which means they're very outspoken about themselves, their body, and the way they set their boundaries by themselves. And those boundaries are to be respected. I don't give a shit who you think you are. If you don't, I will communicate that once, and if not, there will be consequences. I don't care who you are. Yet another thing that both of us had a huge but it was a huge topic, is authority. We do not have any authority over our children. Not that, not me. We are their parents, but before we are their parents, we are their friends. We want our children to relate with us, to open up to us, to be close to us, to know that we are always there for them, that we are always ready to go the extra mile. We want them to know that before anything else, we are family, we are blood, we are friends. There is so much more than just parental authority. I don't believe in that one bit. And that with that comes respect. I do not demand my children to have respect for me because I am their mother. I ask them to respect me because I'm a human being. Regardless of who I am or who I am to them, I ask them to respect each and everybody the same way they want to be respected. With love and care, automatically comes respect. I do not need to sit down and tell my children, you are to respect me because I'm your mother. I need to show them that I am worthy of their respect. And with that, I do not need to demand shit. My children respect me, and I'm pretty certain that they are quite okay with who I am for now. I can't say, of course, time speaks. Time will tell. That also means that we focus more on, do our children feel loved by us than do we love them? It's not about the way we give love, it's the way our children receive it. Because every human being deserves and has to be loved in their own love language, right? So the way child A is being loved, or the way child A feels loved is not the way child B will feel the same love. So it is more important for us that our children feel loved by us than we emphasize the fact that we love them, because of course we do that. But if I'm sending a message, are you getting the message? Am I sending the message in a language that you understand? Therefore, it is a lot more important to us that our children feel loved by us. There are two big things, I believe, when it comes to parenthood, and that is guide and provide. When it comes to provision, our children have wishes. I will make them come true. We will make them come true. It doesn't matter what it is. They will have it. And still at the same time, they are very humble. They are very sufficient with what they have. They are very content with what they have. They are very okay with what they have. Sometimes they have extraordinary wishes, like maybe a trip to a certain place or an expensive electrical gadget or whatever the fuck it is. Like 2 years ago, they asked me that was last year, 2024. They wanted a Nintendo Switch. They got the Nintendo Switch because they deserve it. They deserve it. That's that. I do not mind spoiling my children in any way, shape or form, as long as it's based on my capacity, and if it is not, I will find a way to make it possible. For the simple fact that I didn't have, and I want my children to have anything and everything they ask for, and no, that doesn't make them spoiled. It doesn't make them ungrateful. It simply means if I need it, mama, papa, they will get it for me, which means my children do not need to look outside for anything. And that's another topic. Stranger danger is less of a thing because, statistically speaking, most danger comes from people that they actually know. Therefore, yet again, the emphasization of your body, your consent, your personal space bubble, nobody gets to invade that. I'm their mother, they came from me, and I ask, so the fuck will you? I'm sure there's a lot more, but I think that's it for now. Anyway, none of this should be controversial. None of this should be different. None of this should be any extraordinary. I think children deserve the freedom and respect and dignity every other person has, and that's not debatable for me.